America has been here before. A tragedy so public, so visible, that the official story should be clear and undeniable. And yet, the moment you pause and truly look, nothing makes sense. The facts don't line up. The footage doesn't tell the same story the government is selling. And the people we are told to trust, the agencies sworn to protect us, seem more concerned with controlling the narrative than delivering truth. Tonight, we are forced to confront an unsettling possibility. Tyler Robinson may have been used, not simply accused, but deliberately placed as the face of this crime, a patsy offered up to shield others, while the real mechanics of Charlie Kirk's death remain hidden in shadows. Go back to the footage, the crowd, the noise, the cameras rolling from multiple angles. We see Charlie, calm in those final moments, unaware of what is about to unfold. The fatal shot, sudden, sharp. But when you analyze where it came from, the angle, the trajectory, it suggests something else entirely. Behind, to the right, not where the official version insists, not where Tyler Robinson supposedly was. And then there are the men, background faces that most wouldn't notice, but once you do, they can't be unseen. The man in sunglasses, he lifts his hand to the frames just 4 minutes before the shot. A small press, almost unnoticeable. Why? Why at that exact moment? Technology exists, glasses that transmit, that receive, that guide. Could those lenses have been feeding live visuals to someone else? Could he have been more than just an onlooker? Then the man in the brown t-shirt, positioned close enough to be part of something coordinated. In one frame, you see a flick of his wrist, something clutched, controlled, and then, as if rehearsed, the small object changes hands. Another man pockets it, disappearing behind a tent. Ask yourself, is that how a random tragedy looks? Or does it look like a device, a remote, a trigger, handed off with precision as if the job was done and the cleanup had begun? And yet the FBI insists it was one man, Tyler Robinson, on the stairs. But freeze the image. Compare it to Tyler. The frame is wrong. The gait is wrong. The face is longer, thinner. Even the ears, smaller, mismatched. Anyone with eyes can see it. And yet that's the story they cling to, a story they need you to accept. But why? Why cling to a version so weak it collapses under the weight of its own evidence? Why silence witnesses? Why edit out frames? Why insist that what millions saw is not what actually happened? The answer takes us into darker territory, because when those tasked with protecting truth work harder to hide it, you have to ask, what are they hiding? Look closer at what happened immediately after the shot. Several men leaped the desk, but not to save a life, not to give first aid, not to try to stop the bleeding. Instead, they pull something from Charlie's body. Watch their faces. They're smiling in the seconds after a man is struck down. What could possibly justify that reaction? And what did they remove? Was it evidence? Was it a device? Something planted? Something that could not be allowed to remain in public view? Not one person tried to help. Not one. No CPR. No desperate attempt to resuscitate. Only a scramble to collect, to remove, to conceal. And the question echoes, why? Charlie Kirk trusted those around him. He believed in the people closest to him. But how deep does betrayal go? His wife, silent, almost absent from the public eye. Some say she has been advised not to speak. Others whisper she has been pressured into silence. The grief is real, but silence can also be manufactured. And silence always benefits those who want the truth buried. The team around Charlie acted as if they knew more than we were told. The frantic movements, the shielding of certain areas, the urgency to remove, not to save. Was this a team caught off guard by tragedy, or a team executing a plan, making sure nothing slipped through. And then the larger question, the FBI. Their track record is not spotless. We know this. COINTELPRO, withheld files, classified pages that remain hidden even decades later. Why should we believe they suddenly chose full transparency now? Why should this case, this one case, be treated as the exception? When you review the video, frame by frame, it doesn't look like chaos. It looks like choreography. Every move has purpose. Every handoff, every motion, precise, controlled. And that should terrify you, because if true, it means the story is not of a lone man acting on impulse, but of a plan designed, staged, and executed in full view of the world. And who benefits? Who gains from silencing Charlie Kirk? Who had the power to ensure the narrative was set before the body was even cold? And who had the reach to control what we are allowed to see? The uncomfortable truth is this: justice may never come, not because it can't, but because it isn't meant to. Because bad people control more than just America's systems, they control its memory. Tyler Robinson's name is already etched into the story, but is it real? Was he the man on the stairs, or was he the scapegoat, dragged into history as the convenient villain, while the real players walk free? What we are watching isn't justice. It's a performance, a carefully managed production meant to satisfy enough people that no one digs deeper. But you are here, listening, watching, questioning, and that matters, because once you see these cracks, you cannot unsee them. The betrayal is not just of one man, not just of one family. It's of us all. A society forced to accept half-truths and outright lies. A society told to move on while those responsible move higher into power. And unless we demand more, unless we refuse to let this fade, the pattern will repeat.
And while the public is distracted by headlines and sound bites, deeper questions are surfacing in corners of the internet that mainstream outlets won't touch. Commenters are dissecting every frame, slow-motioning the footage, circling figures, comparing timestamps. People are pointing out details that no official investigation has even acknowledged. Why does the audio cut out in certain clips? Why do the bystanders seem positioned like stage props? Why is the camera focusing on the wrong area seconds before the shot, almost as if it knew where not to look? We've seen posts from alleged insiders claiming the event was rehearsed weeks in advance at an undisclosed facility. Others point to archived social media posts hinting at a big day or a turning point that would change the narrative around certain public figures. These claims may sound outrageous, but when the official version crumbles under scrutiny, even the wildest theories start to look less like fantasies and more like puzzle pieces. And then there's the timeline. Tyler Robinson's movements that day remain oddly undocumented. Key surveillance footage of his supposed route has vanished. Witness statements contradict each other. Cell tower data that should exist, missing. Who benefits from those gaps? If this were just a tragic shooting, we would expect transparency, a rush to prove the case airtight. Instead, what we see is suppression, intimidation, and a tightening of the narrative every time a new detail leaks. Those who ask too many questions online find their posts removed, their accounts throttled, their reach strangled by invisible hands. Ask yourself, why are ordinary people being silenced for simply asking questions? Look at history. Patterns emerge. When officials know a story won't hold, they don't defend it with evidence. They defend it with power. They ridicule, censor, and isolate those who doubt. That's what's happening now. Anyone pointing out inconsistencies in the Tyler Robinson case is branded a conspiracy theorist. Yet no one can explain why so many obvious contradictions remain unanswered. And the human cost. Tyler's own family, confused, grieving, unsure how their son's name became synonymous with a crime that doesn't fit him. Charlie's supporters, left in limbo, clinging to fragments of information. Both families caught in the gears of something much larger than them. Even more disturbing are the whispers about what was removed from Charlie's body in those chaotic seconds. People claim it wasn't just a device, it was data, files, something he was carrying that day, something sensitive enough to trigger an operation if leaked. Did Charlie know he was in danger? Did someone close to him know? The cameras captured their hands, their smiles, their rush to confiscate. No official inquiry, no public accounting, just silence. And this silence has consequences. It erodes trust not only in agencies, but in the very idea of justice. If the truth can be buried this easily, if evidence can vanish in real time on live footage, what else can be done without us knowing? How many other lone actors were never truly alone? How many random events were carefully constructed? As independent researchers peel back these layers, a picture is emerging, not of a simple crime, but of a coordinated act. Not of a rogue individual, but of a system built to create scapegoats and control outcomes. And if that is true, then Tyler Robinson isn't just a man accused. He's a symbol of something much darker. This is why staying with the story matters, because the deeper we go, the more we see how fragile our assumptions are, how much of what we think we know is curated, and how far powerful entities will go to ensure we never see the full picture. We will continue to investigate. We will continue to analyze. And in the next part of this documentary, we'll expose the timeline discrepancies minute by minute, reveal unseen footage unearthed by online communities, and examine the individuals who appeared at the scene just long enough to play their part and then vanish. Stay tuned. Subscribe now if you want to see what the networks won't air, because the next revelations will push even the most skeptical viewers to question everything they thought they knew about this case.